to Pastor Taylor. How you doing, honey?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And
You're looking good, too.
I did hear aficionados or nados or whatever that word is.
Aficionados. You say the right word. Say it correctly. Yeah. Okay. Aficionados. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, well, folks, welcome to coronavirus number 14. Number 14, diabetes part 1. This is going to be a mini-series. All right? Okay. Let's go to our disclaimer at this time. The information presented in this presentation is not to diagnose, prescribe, or treat, but to educate only. We advise that you consult with your primary care physician before incorporating any complementary, integrative, and/or alternative lifestyle medicine. All right?
Okay, we're talking about another subject. We're talking about
That's right.
Now we're talking about a disease as it relates to COVID-19. Yes. And so that disease is diabetes.
Diabetes, that's right, yes. Because you talk about those underlying conditions, pre-existing conditions, and diabetes is one of those conditions that we talk about. And so therefore, for those who have this, diabetes, it's going to be really devastating if we're going to see it in the next 6 to 8 minutes.
Well, let's look at an animation because we usually bring that in. But let's bring that in now so we can actually identify what exactly is diabetes.
All right, let's turn the page. So let's go with this graphic, this animation at this time. And as the animation starts, and I'll wait until it starts, and I'll start talking. So let's go ahead. Okay, here it is. So the food, oh, wow, that was fast. Let's go back. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so the food enters into the stomach, all right? I'm going to look at it. Okay, there it is. Now, when the food enters into the stomach, it has to be transformed into blood sugar glucose. The organ right below the stomach is the pancreas. The pancreas sends out insulin.
Right.
Insulin acts like a key that opens up the door to the cell so that the glucose, blood sugar, goes into the cell for energy. Now, if that's working properly, everything is all right. But suppose there's not enough insulin, or the cell resists the insulin, or there's so much fat around the cell that the energy can't get in, now we have diabetes. Okay. So on the left, glucose, blood sugar begins to get higher and higher and higher. On the right side, insulin also gets higher and higher and higher. This is diabetes. So therefore, you have high glucose, blood sugar in the cells, in the bloodstream, and that can be very damaging, very damaging.
Wow, so that increase of sugar in the blood is going to cause an issue of actually now the macrophage. We talked about that before as well.
Well, let's go to the next graphic. Yes, all right. So now here it is. Now we did macrophage previous weeks ago.
Yes, we
did.
So
again, micro means big.
Yes.
Phage means to eat.
Right.
Hence, macrophage means big eaters. So, folks, this is the one cell you do not want to invite to a buffet.
That's true.
Macrophage, immunity. The first line of defense against SARS-CoV-2 is compromised in patients with uncontrolled diabetes. When the blood sugar is very high, the macrophage cannot eat the virus completely. Therefore, you have problems with that virus really in the system.
You remember we talked before about also in this program that 70% of the immunity in our bodies is housed in the gastrointestinal tract.
That's right.
So we want to be very careful. So let's go. What other symptoms then can we see with an individual who has diabetes, sugar in the blood, as it relates to COVID-19?
Okay, folks, it gets even worse. All right, let's turn the page at this time. Here it is, all right? Journal of Clinical Hypertension. One of the largest studies published, inflammation and blood clots were significantly higher in COVID-19 patients with diabetes. So now a person has diabetes, they already have inflammation, also more risk of blood clots, so now COVID-19 is going to add to that, and also on that picture right there, increased risk of those having diabetes with COVID-19 be admitted to ICU, intensive care units.
Wow.
Those who have diabetes. So that's why it's very critical for that.
So how many people in the United States actually have diabetes?
All right, let's turn the page at this time and let's look at this. First of all, before we do that, look at this one. The most available studies have been shown that diabetes is associated with more severe COVID-19, acute respiratory disease syndrome, and increased mortality. Folks, that graphic there is actually 3 times higher severe COVID-19 for those who have diabetes. 3 times higher, being more severe than those who don't have diabetes.
So 3 times as high.
Right.
So how many individuals in the United States, it has been estimated, to have diabetes?
Well, here we go. 34 million people in the United States have diabetes. 34. But here's the key, 34 million.
Okay.
But here's the key. 20% don't even know they have it.
Mercy.
That's 8 million.
Wow.
So those who don't even have it get COVID-19, it's going to be devastating. It's going to be really alarming.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
So, and 90% of those who have pre-diabetes and 90% don't know they have it as well. So therefore,
how can we then, how can we find out if we're a diabetic or not
so you
then?
have self-tests, all right? I mean, you can go down to any of your pharmacy or stores right here in the neighborhood area, and you can actually test yourself. It's a kit.
Okay.
You know, glucose self-test, and you do it, make sure you haven't eaten for 8 hours. So you do it in the morning before you eat breakfast. Test your blood sugar. You want to be between 70 and 99.
Okay.
100 to 125 is pre-diabetes.
Okay.
126 is diabetic. So therefore, that's very critical for that.
Okay, so we can do a self-test, okay?
Yeah.
But so how can we find out more information about this?
Okay, here we go. So you can go to Stanford University, webinars and also videos on diabetes and COVID-19. So to register, go to the website, medstanford.edu, and every Wednesday from 11 to 12 Central Standard Time, you can see webinars and videos on diabetes and COVID-19 every Wednesday from 11 to 12
And
Central Standard Time.
Also, too, Chris, as we're starting this series right here on diabetes, there's more to come.
It's going to be a mini-series.
There's people who say always, as we close out the Bible text, there are people who say, but you know, I don't really want to know what's going on inside of me. I don't want to get myself all worked up.
I just don't want to know.
But we need to know what's going on.
Get your head out the sand, because we need to know, folks. Here it is, Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed from lack of knowledge. You know, there's someone who said that, you know, if we don't do any testing, then there'll be less people infected.
Mercy, mercy, mercy.
Well, now, it's like saying, if you don't get a pregnancy test, then you won't get pregnant. Okay, somebody caught that.
All right.
Folks, you need to get tested, see where we stand as far as diabetes is concerned. So in that close, because a whole lot of people laughing now, you got 30 seconds. John 10:10. Jesus said, I come, that they might have life and have it more abundantly.